So good evening everyone, we're back in hurling country, we're back in Thurles to watch another game of winner takes all championship hurling, and a crowd of just over 4,000 people here with us to bring the colour and the noise. So before we get underway, let's take a check on the teams, and Dublin manager Matty Kenny makes two changes to the side that lost to Kilkenny in the Leinster final. They're at opposite ends of the field, with number 4 Cian O'Callaghan from Coola replacing the injured Owen O'Donnell, and number 14 Ronan Hayes returns in place of Mark Schutte. Two of this Dublin team started the All-Ireland semi-final against Cork 8 years ago, centre-back Liam Rush and team captain Danny Sutcliffe. Top scorer Donal Burke from Na Fianna is another one to watch out for. Kieran Kingston makes one change to the team that edged out Clare last weekend in the qualifiers. Conor Cahalane from St Finbarrs returns to the attack and wears number 10, with Alan Cadigan dropping to the bench. Damien Cahalane and Owen Cadigan are not fit enough though to make Cork's matchday squad. 10 of this team also started against Dublin last November, including 5 of the forward line. The odd man out, Declan Dalton, is on the bench. Record point scorer Patrick Horgan is the Cork captain. There's our match referee, James Owens from Wexford. It's the first match he's taken charge of since that Munster semi-final between Tip and Clare 4 weeks ago. His linesmen, Liam Gordon of Galway and Thomas Walsh from Waterford. Well, it's a lovely summer's evening here at Tom Semple's field in Thurles. There's a light breeze blowing down towards the town goal away to our right. And interesting to see the floodlights were switched on here just a few minutes ago. They could be needed, of course, if this game was to go the extra mile. Nicky English is alongside me, as always. Nicky, reading your column this morning, you seem to think that the fact that Cork came through that battle against Clare last weekend will really stand to them again this evening.
Yeah, Clare were battle-hardened coming into that match, and I was impressed with the way Cork responded when Clare took the lead in the final quarter. And but again, Cork have to move on from that and maybe improve another bit here tonight to really show us what they're made of.
So before the action gets underway, we'll pause and stand for Aron Navian. As you probably gathered there, Cork supporters have travelled in much bigger numbers than Dublin fans this evening. Among them, one of the most recognisable of the Cork supporters. You'll have caught a glimpse of on Taoiseach a few moments ago. It's all or nothing now for Cork and Dublin. One of them just 70 minutes away from an All-Ireland semi-final. Croke Park awaits next weekend for the winners. The winter stretches out in front of the losers. We're off and running. Dublin on the attack. First shot in anger is high and over the bar. Dream start for the rank outsiders, and no surprise to see the opening score has come from the stick of Donal Burke.
Great start for Dublin, and Donal Burke is a beautiful striker of the ball. He's actually lining up at wing forward, marking, looks like Tim O'Mahony's actually picking him up on the far side.
Well, we are expecting plenty of switches and changes as the evening progresses. Dublin manager Matty Kenny, he has his team playing to a very definite system. Liam Rush will sit in as a +1 in front of the full back line. Conor Burke will drop to centre back, and that will allow Donal Burke to play just a little deeper as well. to isolate the likes of this man. Ronan Hayes closer to goal, wins it in front of Downey, takes him on. Hayes goes for goal, and Patrick Collins comes up with the answer. Bit casual on the way out though, and he's lost it. Crummy trying to bulldoze his way through. Referees playing an advantage. Shot flies wide. They'll come back for the free into Dublin. But Patrick Collins, who had done the hard part, then a little careless on his way out with the Schlitter, and very nearly paid the price.
Yeah, Cork a little lackadaisical all over the place, and it was a great save initially by Patrick Collins, but you know, he just popped up the pass to Crummy, and that was dangerous there for Cork. And a really good start for Dublin.
Well, in so many ways it is, of course, all set up for a Dublin ambush. Very few people give them any sort of a chance. They're the 4-1 outsiders, but they've just eased here into a 2-point lead.
And unusually, both sides are lining up in 15 positions, really, man on man here. It's a bit unusual in the modern game.
Yes, at the moment, Liam Rush is sitting at centre back. He hasn't dropped off Seamie Harnedy like we expected him to. Not yet, anyway. But the game's still settling down, and that's certainly the case for Cork.
Yeah, just as we speak now, they've changed, and Donald Burke has come back out into the middle of the field, and Conor Burke drops back to allow Rush get free.
So the Dublin game plan clicks into gear, and here's Donald Burke again. The man from Na Fianna has started very positively, but again, it was a casual pass. Mark Coleman, who was starting his 22nd consecutive championship game tonight, breaks it up. Now Dara Fitzgibbon, standing on his own 65, puts everything he has behind it, but that's away to the right and wide. First wide for Cork.
Good play by Coleman to find him, and Donald Burke, actually, there was plenty on for him inside in the Dublin full forward line, so it was a poor execution of the pass.
Well, two major puck-out targets for Dublin. One of them is Chris Crummy. That ball just popped out of his hand. Breaks kindly for Cian Boland. Advantage being played. Hayes is in. Ronan Hayes, it breaks free towards McBride. And there in the nick of time was Patrick Collins again. It's only his third championship appearance, but he's been one of the busiest men in the championship these last few weeks.
Yeah, but you see Cian Boland coming right through. He gets an advantage there and gets it across to Ronan Hayes, and then ball comes out here, and Collins does well again. But again, when he passes the ball to Conor Cahalane, he's a bit static. You see Rian McBride following it in there, and you know, Conor Cahalane takes a big hit there from Danny Sutcliffe. I think Kieran Kingston couldn't be too happy with the start that Cork have made. They looked very off the mark here so far.
So everybody back up on their feet again, good to go. As Mark Coleman from Blarney weighs up his options, delivers it just the way Jack O'Connor likes it. Uses his pace to get out in front of Cian O'Callaghan, off to Horgan, sets his feet, and Patrick Horgan with a glorious score. He is hurling's highest ever point scorer from play. That is number 136.
Good play by Cork. Mark Coleman down the line, and Jack O'Connor, great first touch, and just easy pass off to Patrick Horgan, who finds the target.
Horgan didn't score here from open play against Limerick in the Munster semi-final, but he's up and running inside the first 5 minutes. Niall O'Leary waits for the run of Dara Fitzgibbon, who did well to lift it and spin out of the tackle. Releases the wingman, Conor Cahalane, back in the team. He's got the legs to beat Conor Burke, and he pops the score over at his leisure. Cork back on level terms. And
that's what you see with Cork when Fitzgibbon, Cahalane, when they start rolling and running with the ball, they create a whole lot of space here, and Cahalane has an easy point here to pick off.
Right now, Cork with Dara Fitzgibbon at centre forward, Patrick Horgan at full forward, but they continue to rotate. Down at the other end, a chance for Dublin to hit the front, and it's taken by Cian O'Sullivan from St. Bridget's. Lovely, tidy finish.
Yeah, good score. Was able to get away and create a bit of space for himself up and off the left-hand side.
Scores coming thick and fast as Liam Rush, the two-time All-Star, comes across to cut this out. Coming at an angle is Chris Crummy. Really good block by Luke Meade. Tracked the run of Crummy. And here is the Cork sweeper, Mark Coleman. And now Patrick Collins from Ballinhassig will get it away. First meaningful touch really for last week's man of the match, Shamie Harnedy. Harnedy, what a score! He was yards and yards inside his own 65. Spectacular equaliser.
Great block there at the other end by Luke Meade, who was very impressive last week as well. And, you know, he tracked back on Crummy and then created ultimately the chance through Coleman for Harnedy, and great score for him.
Sides level for the second time. Paddy Smith, nice pop pass to Andrew Dunphy. This just his second championship start. To the target man, Ronan Hayes bends his back, looking to take on Rob Downey, but the big full-back stood his ground and does well. Now Cian Boland, his pocket almost picked by Niall O'Leary. Hayes thought he had it. Rian McBride has. Pops it out through the back door to Cian Boland. The angle is really tight, too tight, and that's Dublin's first wide.
You see the strength of the Dublin players though in close quarters there. Rian McBride and Cian Boland, they're able to get on the ball and create the chance ultimately for Cian Boland, but just to the right of the post.
Well, we know Dublin are very well conditioned. They've had 2 weeks to recover from their Leinster final defeat to Kilkenny. Cork on the road again for the second time in 7 days. And there is the man with the plan, Matty Kenny. It was good enough to beat Galway and Antrim in the Leinster Championship. Will it be good enough to take down Cork this evening? Loose ball picked by Conor Cahalane. Nice angle run made by Harnedy. Lovely ball to release Jack O'Connor. He's got it under control, weighs up his options and whips Cork back in front. 8 minutes gone. Let's head to the back of the Dublin goal, up to the terrace, and check in with our analyst Anthony Nash.
Yeah, it's very interesting to watch that Dara Fitzgibbon is actually pushing right up on Liam Rush, not allowing him to play his usual sweeping role there in front and keeping him busy by running side to side, and Puck was trying to create the gap. Conor Burke is actually struggling to get back in, and in fairness to Dara Gray, who's trying to push out and let Conor come back, but I think it's a good decision having played with Dara at centre forward. He's got a great hand and great athleticism, so it'll be interesting to see how he poses a threat on Liam Rush.
Thanks, Anthony. We've just watched Cian Boland shoot Dublin's second wide. Cork are in front here for the first time. But as Anthony said there, already it is developing into a fascinating tactical battle between Kieran Kingston and Matty Kenny, between Cork and Dublin. Dara Fitzgibbon, pace to burn, and he's not afraid to use it. Moves up through the gears, away from two defenders, sucks in another. O'Mahony, quick layoff, goal chance, Nolan saves. Just got there in the nick of time to deny Robbie O'Flynn a Cork goal. And just as they love to do, they were hunting a green flag, and Alan Nolan, who's in the form of his life, to the rescue for Dublin. Outstanding
save by Alan Nolan. He really had to come to the rescue. Great move by Cork.
Nice first touch by Conor Cahalane. One man up top, it's Patrick Horgan. He's got Paddy Smith from Clontarf for company, and Paddy Smith does really well, standing in for the injured Owen O'Donnell at full-back. And so far, so good. Rian McBride. The moving target, as always, is Ronan Hayes from Kilmacud Crokes. Can turn onto either side, needs support, comes from Cian O'Sullivan. He struck that beautifully, and it's coming in on the breeze. 2 for O'Sullivan, Dublin level again.
Very good play by Dublin, and beautiful point of it by Cian O'Sullivan, but Ronan Hayes is winning a huge amount of possession. There's an awful lot of space in front of the Cork full back line, and you know, Robert Downey is able to hold him off shooting himself, but he's able to create and bring the other players into it, as in Cian O'Sullivan's point there.
Brilliant catch by Harnedy, back to Ger Millerick, who plants his feet and lets fly. That's away for a second Cork wide. Teams level for the third time here at Semple Stadium. And this game coming to the boil nicely. Short puck out from Nolan to Rush. O'Callaghan over the head of Danny Sutcliffe, who hasn't really been involved so far. Rob Downey wins the foot race. Stopped in his tracks by two Dublin men. Nothing doing in terms of a free. James Owen's happy to let them sort it out themselves. Conor Burke, nice snappy little pass into Donald Burke. He's got great wrists, and with one flick of them, he's just drilled Dublin back in front. 3 for Burke, who's really now getting into his rhythm.
But great work before by Dublin. Danny Sutcliffe in particular, they just stood up the Cork players and dispossessed them. Plenty of power and strength in that Dublin forward line.
It's frantic stuff, it's end-to-end. Robbie O'Flynn with his first. Level again.
Yeah, plenty of space for Robbie O'Flynn, and he gets it onto his strong side.
Alan Nolan there just took an extra second or two as Danny Sutcliffe climbs into the air to win that ball. Switched wings to give Nolan a target to hit, and he's fouled the Dublin captain as he tried to get away from Ger Millerick. But Sutcliffe's such a key part of the Dublin game plan.
Yeah, he's a powerful athlete, and you can see there, as Jamesy pointed out before the match, he often changes his hands and changes the hurley from one hand to the other to catch the ball in the right hand.
Well, 9 of the 10 points we've watched so far have come from open play. As Donald Burke tries to keep his good run going. 4 points for him now. Coming into this game, he had scored 2 goals and 111 points in Dublin's last 10 matches. He has been running up big tallies every other week.
Yeah, and Dublin's scoring, their scoring rate has been higher this year, and it's helped them in all their matches.
Dara Gray does well to win that dirty ball. Ball fired in by Rian McBride, and again, first man to react is Ronan Hayes. That was very good full back play though by Downey initially, and a second time stretched out the hurley to knock it away from danger. Ball recycled by Dublin, back to Chris Crummy, who shoots across the face of goal and out for a third Dublin wide.
Yeah, Downey's doing very well to actually block off Ronan Hayes. Ronan Hayes getting a lot of possession, but Downey by and large is keeping him out and blocking him down. And here's the first ball that Shane Kingston has actually got near him tonight.
Just looking down at the Killinen end here, where Rob Downey and Ronan Hayes are shoulder to shoulder, 2 huge men on the edge of the square, and nothing but green grass either side of them.
Yeah, certainly suits Ronan Hayes. He's a lot of pace, and it is putting pressure on Downey.
Dara Gray tries to cut this in that general direction. Didn't make great contact. Works out for Dublin and Sutcliffe, but he delayed the delivery, and that allows Millerick in to block it down. First time ball fired in towards Jack O'Connor, but on this occasion Cian O'Callaghan got the run on him. Rian McBride there. Cork encouraging James Owens to give a free against him for touching it on the ground. Nothing doing. Crummy. Well, he turns away in disgust. The moment he struck that shot, knew he hadn't struck it cleanly or anything like it. Poor wide.
Yeah, a couple of bad wides there by Chris Crummy now. And Dublin having a lot of possession, but not putting it on the scoreboard.
5 different scorers already for Cork. Donald Burke with 4 for Dublin. Patrick Horgan races out to the left wing. Leaves it behind for Jack O'Connor, one of the fastest men in the game. O'Connor tries to bat it in, side net. Well, he executed that skill beautifully in Limerick against Clare, and he very nearly did it again.
Yeah, just look at the pace of Jack O'Connor coming in here all along the sideline, and then he bats it and just barely misses the target.
He's got unbelievable pace, blistering pace, and already you can see and hear panic stations in the Dublin full back line every time O'Connor gets turned.
Yeah, and similar to Rory Hayes, one of the best cornerbacks in the game for Clare last week, he was spooked by the pace of Jack O'Connor, who scored a goal, could have maybe scored another 2 on the night.
Tim O'Mahony, beautiful clean strike. It'll run towards Horgan, who does really well to hold off Smith, win possession and win a free. Well, so much of the game being played in the middle third, but when it is released inside, at either end, there are scores to be had.
Yeah, Horgan did very, very well there. He was behind Paddy Smith initially for the ball, and he was able to use his strength and shield the ball and draw the foul.
So all eyes turn to Patrick Horgan, his 63rd championship game. And a nice handy one. Sides level for the 5th time here at Semple Stadium in this All-Ireland quarter-final.
Much cleaner strike from Patrick Horgan. You know, the other couple of games we've seen him play, this year his free taking hasn't just been as precise.
Again, there Alan Nolan from St. Bridget's bides his time, waits for the run, the move to be made. He was looking for Hayes, Cork alive to it, and this is Robbie O'Flynn. Such a brilliant line breaker to Tim O'Mahony. Cuts infield, options left and right. He's gone past Rush. O'Mahony bearing down on goal. Brilliant finish! Tim O'Mahony has just scored his first goal in the championship. And it was certainly worth waiting for.
Yeah, you can see when he breaks here, he breaks the first tackle, and then, as Cork have been doing since all through the league, looks for goal off the hurley, and no chance for Alan Nolan.
Superb run and an even better finish from Tim O'Mahony, and it's taken Cork, who have become something of a goal machine, just over 17 minutes to breach that Dublin rearguard. Chance for Donald Burke. Dublin need a score. It's gone out for a 65. Well, once O'Mahony got past Liam Rush, it all opened up.
Yeah, just there, he just slips Liam Rush and he's away and right in towards. He even thought of hopping it on the ground, but decided against it and buried it in the net.
Well, he's such a versatile hurler, Tim O'Mahony from Newtown Shandrum. Can play in a whole host of different positions. Kieran Kingston using him as a rampaging wing back this season. As James Owens just grabs a quick word with an umpire. Now Donald Burke strikes the 65. And that's 5 points for him. And there is the whistle to signal the water break. And what a first quarter it's been. End to end, and Tim O'Mahony's goal so far, the big moment. Let's head to the studio and check in with Ollie and JJ.
Yeah, a really fast start from Dublin, and I think probably will be a little bit disappointed. Had a couple of goal chances early in the game in the first 4 or 5 minutes, and Cork did well to survive that and come back down the field with Tim O'Mahony getting a great goal. But Cork had probably threatened on 1 or 2 occasions before that, but a great finish from Tim O'Mahony coming from wing back.
There's great battles all over the field. Robert Downey and Ronan Hayes. You have Gerard Millerick and Danny Sutcliffe and Paddy Smith and Patrick Horgan. It's a fantastic start, all right, to be fair. You know, Dublin had a couple of snap chances, a couple of bad wides there as well before Cork went down and got that killer blow of a goal.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I was just going to come in just before the goal went in there from Tim O'Mahony. It's amazing there wasn't a goal scored earlier in the quarter. Both sides are threatening, in fairness, with pace. Hayes above is causing Downey initial problem by getting the ball to hand, but Downey, in fairness, has held him out and got some fantastic blocks. Jack O'Connor's pace here is right in front of me, electrifying. The Dublin defence didn't know what to do with him. And in fairness to Tim, he made a run earlier as well during the game. So, look, I'd say there's going to be a lot more goals in this game in here.
Thank you, lads. Good timing. Water break has just come to an end. That goal from Tim O'Mahony, the 5th time the Cork have hit the back of the net in just over 2 games, 2 1/4 games in the championship, and that's what makes them so dangerous right now, Nicky, isn't it?
For sure, and that's been their pattern all through the league. They've been hunting goals, and they have the pace to actually do it. And when it opens up, they're hungry for goals. You see Jack O'Connor, first thing in his mind is to go for a goal when he gets the ball.
Well, the Dublin supporters now trying to find their voice, get behind their team. Dublin coming off the back of that Leinster final defeat to Kilkenny. I'm sure their confidence rattled by that O'Mahony goal now. Went down to Cork here last November in the championship by 6 points in a qualifier. Looking to beat them in the championship for the first time in some 98 years as Cork top up their lead nicely. Robbie O'Flynn, he scored 5 here against the Dubs last November. Loves Semple Stadium, knows it like the back of his hand. That's a lovely score.
Yeah, very good interplay with Cork, and Niall O'Leary did well just finding O'Flynn and a great point.
Clean possession taken by Cork, and Mark Coleman looking to play a very precise pass to Fitzgibbon. Dublin have it back again. Poor delivery though by Conor Burke from Vincent's, who just wasn't on the same wavelength as anybody else inside really. And Mark Coleman has an awful lot of time to pick out the pass. Cian O'Callaghan sticking doggedly to his task. So too though is Jack O'Connor. Eventually O'Callaghan gets it under control. The two-time All-Ireland club winner with Coola. Will he earn that free?
He certainly did. Jack O'Connor, and we've seen this from Cork over the last couple of weeks. They're working harder in the forwards, and Jack O'Connor is really putting the pressure on him and probably needlessly fouls him in the end.
O'Connor really was making a nuisance of himself. Free to Dublin. Alan Nolan, the 36-year-old goalkeeper, to Liam Rush, the 31-year-old centre-back. Two of the most experienced men in the Dublin team combine, and Liam Rush has dug out a magnificent score. Just when Dublin need it, Rush steps up.
Yeah, and totally unchallenged. Darragh Fitzgibbon has just stepped off him back into around the middle of the field, and Rush was totally free.
Dara Gray jumping with Darragh Fitzgibbon. Ball on the floor. Conor Cahalane unable to lift it either. Squirts out on the Dublin side. That's James Madden. And James Owens is going to bring it back. Well, I think James Madden may have caught a Cork man there in the act of trying to play that ball away.
Yeah, he slapped back. I don't know whether it was intentionally or by accident, but he caught Luke Meade here. Oh, yellow card, all right. I'd say it's looks a bit worse than. Yeah, it was contact there. You know, he's probably lucky to get away with a yellow card for that.
Well, whether there was intent or not is debatable, but it was contact between the hurley and the helmet. Free to Cork, and Patrick Horgan makes it look easy. 3 points now for the Cork captain, and the gap is out to 3. Alan Nolan once more goes down this left wing. Sutcliffe moves into position. Donal Burke is met with a bone shaker of a shoulder from Sean O'Donoghue. Free against the Cork corner back, who I think feels it was fair and square. Donal Burke, well, he felt the full force of it anyway. Yeah,
Sean O'Donoghue is a very powerful cornerback. He's well put together, and it's hard to see where the free is there. In fairness, he was shoulder to shoulder from in my book.
Well, that Cork supporter in your picture had a great view, and he didn't agree with James Owens. So a free it is, and in fact it's a yellow card for Sean O'Donoghue. That's how unhappy James Owens was with it. A little harsh, Nicky?
I'd say that's harsh.
Well, he's all there, as Nicky said. Sean O'Donoghue from Inishcara. Donal Burke. Well, he wasn't quite 100% after taking the hit, and that free won't do him any favours either.
Yeah, it was a big hit, no doubt, but at the same time, that was a free he should have scored.
So another one that gets away from Dublin, and they're still chasing down that 3-point deficit. Crummy, support run made by Dara Gray. Here's Conor Burke, man of the match against Galway in that Leinster semi-final. Back to Crummy, who manages to find a little time and a little space. But that's another wide for him and for Dublin. They're up to 6 now.
And those wides are crucial, really. You know, they have plenty of possession. Cork are actually finding it very hard to win primary possession, and then Dublin are just wasting it like that.
That was a third wide, by the way, from Chris Crummy, as Darragh Fitzgibbon gets it under control. Really good block by Dara Gray, but he'd already fouled the Corkman. And that's why the referee is bringing it back for the free in. He was playing an advantage, none coming. But all over the field, some really eye-catching individual battles, and that matchup between Gray and Fitzgibbon, Nicky, as good as any of them.
Yeah, Darragh Gray's, you know, on that occasion he was adjudged to be not looking at the ball and playing the hurley.
So Patrick Horgan with point number 4, the man from Glen Rovers, who's puts in legendary hours of practice, and it all pays off on the big day here. Cork now lead by 4, and they're beginning to warm to their task. Jack O'Connor puts his foot to the floor and goes by 1, 2, and a third, and Jack O'Connor with another really well created and taken finish. He is a joy to watch.
And you can hear that, you know, the buzz in the Cork supporters when he does get the ball. And James Madden for Dublin is not slow, and Jack O'Connor just left him for dead there.
3 in a row for Cork. Daylight between the two teams now. Cian Boland does well to pop it off to Cian O'Sullivan. Hooked by a couple of defenders, manages to swing a hurley at it. But he was under so much pressure, he just couldn't steer it between the sticks. And that's away and wide, but really good scramble defence by Cork.
Yeah, I'd say it was a Conor Cahalan actually, and a combination of Conor Cahalan and Niall O'Leary, but I'd say Conor Cahalan got the vital hook.
Well, Cork so far, they're chasing every runner, tracking every incision. Harnedy down at the other end. Normal service resumed, 2 for Harnedy. And Cork's forward line now really humming.
Yeah, the second half last week against Clare, Shamie Harnedy was on fire, and you know, he missed a lot of possession, or missed a lot of scores in the first half against Clare, but you know, tonight his 2 shots have been very confidently struck.
Shane Kingston, the only one of the Cork forwards yet to score here. Everybody else up and running, as again Cork press and hunt and chase, and Alan Nolan here needs to be careful. Conor Burke is under pressure, and the Cork crowd can sense the tide has turned in their favour. Cian O'Callaghan spins away from the tackle of Kingston. He's looking for Cian Boland, but that was really well done by Niall O'Leary. Tidy corner back play, and now Darragh Fitzgibbon goes long. Paddy Smith read his intentions, sat in front of Horgan, and there's the Dublin +1, Liam Rush.
Yeah, Darragh Fitzgibbon had a great chance to get that ball into Patrick Horgan, but he underhit the pass.
Cian Boland looking to knock this down the line to himself, but intercepted by Niall O'Leary. Cork used the goalkeeper, Patrick Collins, and he uses Darragh Fitzgibbon. Cork worked that ball away from danger very easily indeed. Harnedy racing across to try and shut him out is Darragh Gray. This is Tim O'Mahony, and the goal scorer flashes that shot wide on his own side. 4 wides for Cork, but they are tipping along nicely here, 6 up.
They're certainly moving much better in this quarter. You know, they're creating space, and they're creating chances, and there's one missed by O'Mahony, but at the same time they're playing with confidence now.
Puck out from Nolan, almost intercepted by Harnedy. Cian Boland coming off his shoulder was Darragh Gray. Dublin have engineered a free, all right. Well, let's head back up to the terrace and check in with Anthony Nash.
Yeah, just with the angle I'm looking at here, just Cork forwards seem to be pulling and dragging the Dublin defenders all over the place. They're not utilising their sweeper well enough, in fairness. Well, their +1 as you call it. In fairness to Shamie Harnedy, he's after stepping up there for Cork in the last couple of minutes. And when Shamie Harnedy ticks, Cork tick. He's an essential player for Cork because he's so he's so strong in the air and everything like that. But Darragh Fitzgibbon is causing him fierce headaches. He's back in the defence, he's up in the forward line, and they're handing him off, and he's just all over the field. And he's, in fairness to him, he's having a huge influence in the last couple of minutes of the game.
Thanks, Anthony. Back in play, Donald Burke, and that's point number 6 for him. Now, since the water break, Dublin outscored 5 points to 2. Cork have really got their second wind. They go short with that puck out. Collins to Coleman. And the former All-Star uses his pace there to get himself out of trouble. Good defensive work by James Madden. Sutcliffe pops it inside to Donald Burke. His first instinct is to shoot, but this time he's miscued that effort. Dublin's wide tally now up to 8.
And those wides are hurting them. You know, anytime they have possession and they take a shot, they're invariably missing.
Shamey Harnedy, as Anthony Nash said, when he plays well, Cork play well, and Harnedy right now is playing extremely well. 3 points, all from play.
And there's the difference. The score's just coming that little bit easier to Cork.
Well, he had 17 possessions against Clare on his way to a man-of-the-match performance. So far here, he's on 7 and climbing. Half an hour gone here at Semple Stadium in the second of today's All-Ireland quarter-finals. And it's advantage Cork. Patrick Collins, he'll stretch his legs here. Nothing obvious on short, so he's going to let it in long. One man in the full forward line, it's Horgan. Paddy Smith is underneath the dropping ball with him, and Paddy Smith does really well to shield and shadow Horgan, and that will run harmlessly wide.
Smith did well. Shane Kingston is really struggling to try and get into the game and get on ball.
Another easy one for Mark Coleman to intercept. He really is being given an armchair ride so far. Takes a touch, takes a shot, and it would have been pretty special. Instead, it's away for a 6th, Cork wide.
Yeah, we saw him missing as well last week against Clare, so he's not as reliable as he used to be.
Conor Burke made himself an option for the short one. Now Dublin try to stretch the Cork backline. It's Hayes using that hustle and bustle style to draw a foul and win a free. He's a real handful once he gets that Schlitter under control.
Yeah, he's able to win possession. In this case, you see Downey pulls him back there, but Downey does well ultimately to dispossess him. But you know, it's this when the space is in front of Ronan Hayes like this, he's a dangerous player.
So we'll have a brief stoppage here. Conor Cahalan is in need of some attention. But just now, this game very much going Cork's way. It's being played on their terms. And that will force Matty Kenny and his team to have a rethink. They have a very definite structure and system. But when you go 6 down against a team like Cork, may need a rethink.
I suppose, Mike, but at the same time, they are actually creating chances. And, you know, Chris Crummy has had 2 or 3 good chances for points and missed them. And Donald Burke has had a couple of wides, even one from a free, you know. So it's not like that they're being totally dominated. They are creating chances, but they're not converting.
So Shane Kingston is in the book. And Donald Burke, who came through the underage academy at Nafiana, gets up and running again. That's now 7 points for the Dublin free taker. He is by a considerable distance their leading scorer in the championship. 34 points he's hit so far.
Yeah, but outside himself and Cian O'Sullivan, really, they haven't been able to score enough.
Only other Dublin player to score, Liam Rush so far. The clash of the ash rings around Semple Stadium and the ball breaks to Millerick. Nice delivery towards Kingston, who just literally there took his eye off the ball. Gathers it at the second attempt, but he's hooked that well wide of the Dublin goal.
Yeah, it's understandable, I suppose, when you haven't been in it for 33 minutes.
Just catching a brief glimpse there of why Shane Kingston was booked a few minutes ago. Came across late to challenge the Dublin defender. Here's Paddy Smith. Brings Dara Gray into the game, who hit that right at Ger Millerick. And Dublin have coughed up possession very cheaply. O'Connor, lovely first touch in close control, sucks in 3 defenders and wins a free. And really, sometimes there is no substitute for pace.
Pace and class. Look at his first touch there, under all kinds of pressure from Cian O'Callaghan, who's an outstanding defender himself. Let's watch this first touch. quickly becoming a favourite with the Cork fans.
He's a real jack of all trades, Jack O'Connor. Hit his first championship goal against Clare last weekend, but you feel there's a lot more where that came from. Here is a man who knows all about scoring goals. 22 in the championship in his career, and that's point number 5 in this All-Ireland quarter-final, and Cork just keeping Dublin at a nice safe distance.
Yeah, they're just able to stretch that gap out to 6, and you know, they'd be happy with that if they can get into at half-time. Dublin really could do with a score now before half-time.
Danny Sutcliffe, again he switches hands, takes it down, feeds Donald Burke, and that is right from the training ground. Nolan, Sutcliffe, Burke, and a white flag, and Donald Burke with point number 8.
Sutcliffe is a great option for the puck out. That right hand is just, he's able to claw down possession, and Mellerick under pressure.
Here's another man who's a really good puck out target, Robbie O'Flynn, bearing down on goal, looking for Horgan. It might fall for Kingston! 3 games, 3 goals, and Shane Kingston gets his first score in the All-Ireland quarter-final on the brink of half-time, and it just might be a game-breaker.
Yeah, Flynn did very well, and you know, he's trying to find Horgan, and it just breaks for Shane Kingston. As we've seen in the other games in the championship, Kingston is cool in front of goals, and he doesn't flail at it, he just makes sure he strikes it well into the net.
Well, Limerick, Clare and now Dublin have all felt the full force of Shane Kingston's goal-scoring prowess. 11 goals now in his Cork career, and things going very much to plan for Kieran Kingston and Cork. And Dublin, well, they have a lot of issues to try and solve, and they're in a very tight corner right now.
They surely are. They just couldn't afford to concede even any score before half-time, but particularly a goal. And Cork are up to 19 points now, and you know, it's hard to imagine that they won't hit up around the 40 points by the end of the second half, and Dublin have a huge mountain to get to that score.
Conor Burke in the wars. Dublin outscored since that water break, 7 to 4 points, and Matty Kenny knows now he has a job of work on his hands. We're deep into the minute of additional time we'll have at the end of this first half, as once again the ball doesn't stick in the Dublin attack, and there goes the half-time whistle. Well, the pre-match favourites Cork have Dublin right where they want them. They're built and designed to score goals, and they've hit 2 already, one from Shane Kingston, another from Tim O'Mahony. And the Cork supporters getting what they came to see. It's an uphill struggle for Dublin, but at the break, Cork lead the Dubs 2-13 to 11 points. Thanks, Grania. Welcome back. Well, if it stays like this, next weekend's All-Ireland semi-finals will be Limerick against Waterford, a repeat of last year's final, and Kilkenny against Cork. But Dublin, you would imagine, still have something to say about that. They took their time in the dressing room at the break, squeezed every last second out of it. No changes on either side, and away we go. The second half of the second of the All-Ireland quarter-finals is off and running, and so is Dara Fitzgibbon. Lost his hurley, managed to pop the pass to Robbie O'Flynn, and that's a free out for over-carrying against the Cork wing forward. But for a moment, it looked like goal number 3 was on the cards.
Robbie O'Flynn had a good chance. Alan Nolan had left the goals, and Robbie O'Flynn saw that and noticed it, but he just couldn't get away to hit it, and just over-carried it. Took too many steps. Yeah, you see, he out of the corner of his eyes, he sees Alan Nolan. He's trying to get across, and just over-carries.
Just in terms of possessions in the opening half, Conor Burke and Cian Boland, the 2 Dublin players who had more ball than anybody else, 10 possessions. This is number 11 for Burke, and he has just landed a pretty spectacular point.
Maybe a little luckily as well, because Cian O'Sullivan was trying to find someone else and just overhit the pass, and Conor Burke picked it up.
Well, at this stage of the game, Dublin will take anything going their way, and that's a first of the evening for Conor Burke. Made his championship debut against Laois last autumn, as Patrick Collins watches that puck out go out over the line on this near side. And Dara Gray from Whitehall, Cullum Kills, prepares to cut it in. They've got a really poor record in the qualifiers and the All-Ireland Series, Dublin, over the last 10 years. They've only won 4 of the 13 games played. They need to get up and running here quickly, or this could get away from them. But Cian Boland has just whipped over his first point, and that's 2 in a row for Dublin.
Yeah, that's better. Cian Boland and Conor Burke now getting on the score sheet, because Dublin were just too reliant on Donald Burke and maybe Cian O'Sullivan in the first half to get their scores. And Cork, you know, had a much wider spread of scores, but Dublin need just to get into it and maybe get a goal.
Ball bounces nicely for Harnedy. Nobody tracking him. And that's 4 points, all from play for Seamie Harnedy.
Yeah, the easy score by Seamie Harnedy. Great touch initially, rounds his man and away then, and just surveys his options and just takes the easy point.
Well, Harnedy had nothing but open road in front of him there once he broke the first tackle, and it's been a feature of the Dublin defence as backpedaling Sean O'Donoghue wins that ball. Lays it off to Luke Meade, and he does likewise to Mark Coleman. This is the way Cork love to play, through the lines and using the open spaces. Tim O'Mahony on the run, held up by Burke. James Owens is playing an advantage, and O'Mahony makes it pay. Well, he has been at his rampaging best all evening long. That's 1-2 for the man from Newton Chandram.
Absolutely outstanding play from Sean O'Donoghue initially, and great ball by Seamie Harnedy to find Tim O'Mahony, and he's been running right up along the wing from wing back.
Short puck out by Nolan, and now the direct approach in towards Ronan Hayes, who bites the dust in front of Rob Downey. Well, they're like 2 basketballers in there on the edge of the square. They're matched up very evenly, but that time Hayes just got out in front and wins his free.
Yeah, it's just that I suppose the forward is going to get the benefit of the doubt. Robert Downey doesn't believe he fouled him.
So the fullback from Glen Rovers penalised, and Donald Burke from Na Fianna sets his sights. And there is point number 9 for Dublin's leading scorer on his 10th championship appearance. Gap stands at 7 points. Well, believe it or not, Cork have not put championship wins back-to-back for some 6 years. So this is a big milestone, potential milestone in their season, in their development, and a big prize on offer for the winners here. Conor Cahalane, another Cork forward, blessed with pace and a good first touch, and that's out for a 65 off the hurley of Liam Rush.
Good block by Liam Rush, but Conor Cahalane had ages to hit that over the bar. He didn't need to wait for Rush to come down on top of him.
So we're 5 minutes into the second half. Let's check in with Anthony Nash and see what he's made of what he's seen so far.
Big difference for me tonight has been the Cork puckouts. In fairness to Pa inside and goals, Pa Collins, there's pockets of space there. He's finding great runners into space. When that's not on, the Cork backs tend to be a little bit sharper with the ball working out on this attack as well. And we spoke last week about the attacking threat of the half-backs. Like Kyle Hayes does it for Limerick. Tim O'Mahony tonight is up and down the field like a greyhound. And Cork have been brilliantly finding him all night. He's after 1-1 already and looks like he won't stop.
Thank you, Anthony. Well, after spending so many years, Pa Collins looking over his shoulder at Anthony Nash. Same story again here tonight. Our analyst up on the terrace behind the Cork goal. He's got a really good view of this effort from Donald Burke, but that's away to the left. Down at the other end a few moments ago, Horgan had no such issues. He's up to 6 points now for Cork, and their lead is up to 8. Conor Cahalane spills that just in front of Luke Meade. He's taken down by Conor Burke. Well, Cork's first touch and their handling by and large has been really impressive.
Yeah, very sharp Cork. getting on the ball. You see Coleman taking a very good puck out again from Pat Collins and recycling the ball, and then when they get the opportunity, they're going to run at you, as Luke Meade did there, and they have the pace to cause real problems. And I suppose going back to Tim O'Mahony, he's been outstanding up and down the wing here, and it's become a feature of hurling now where, you know, you have Tim O'Mahony, like Kyle Hayes for Limerick, he can play in numerous positions, but wing back is a very dangerous position now if you have a very good athlete and good hurler.
Patrick Horgan still chasing that elusive Celtic cross. 4 All-Stars, 3 Munster Championship medals, and a 7th point of this All-Ireland quarter-final. Once more for Dublin, Sutcliffe is the intended target, and once more he does his part of the job. Now the diagonal ball over towards Ronan Hayes. Great take in the air. He's got such a good left hand. Lays it off to Boland. Boland held up, and Dublin have a free in.
Yeah, that time Ronan Hayes got on to Niall O'Leary and caught it over his head. Or sorry, actually Sean O'Donoghue, and caught it. He was probably fouled initially by Sean O'Donoghue, and then ultimately Boland fouled again.
Well, as Nicky said, Dublin did get the mismatch there. Hayes on O'Donoghue. He is on a yellow, the Cork cornerback. He's just been spoken to by the referee as well, so you'd imagine he's walking a fairly fine line as Donal Burke moves into double figures for the evening. He's up to 10 points. Pa Collins had 12 possessions against Clare last weekend, second only to Seamie Harnedy. That will tell you just how much he's used by his full back line and gets involved in open play. As Dara Fitzgibbon scraps for this initially with Andrew Dunphy, now Smith. And here's Conor Burke, brings Alan Nolan into play. Knocks it out into open space. Cian O'Sullivan moved across but just overshot the runway. O'Donoghue, Harnedy, he's got a runner coming at pace. Instead he's going to use Horgan. Takes it down, steps back. It's a trademark move. It's a trademark score. Class is permanent, and Patrick Horgan has oceans and oceans of it. 8 points, and that is the pick of the bunch.
Absolute class is right. Beautiful strike of the ball, but what a pass by Seamie Harnedy to find him right out in that corner of the pitch.
Puck out quickly taken. Donal Burke on the end of the move, and that's why so often they want Burke in those sort of positions. Another really well taken score and an instant reply.
And Dublin need that and much more. They need to find goals from somewhere here.
They've only scored 2 goals so far in this championship campaign, Dublin. Harnedy knocking this one in around the danger area. Alan Nolan takes no chances, helped out by Cian O'Callaghan. Jack O'Connor moving across to close him down. O'Callaghan gets it forward, but easy for the Cork sweeper Mark Coleman. Perhaps again too easy. Very lackadaisical with the clearance, and Cian O'Sullivan gobbles it up and returns it with interest. 3 points for him, but that was all of Cork and Mark Coleman's doing.
Yeah, very lackadaisical by Mark Coleman, and he's not been really at his very best in the games we've seen for Cork this year. He just his touch is just slightly off.
Dublin are getting ready to make a change. We're hearing Davy Keogh will be coming into the game shortly, just heading towards the midway point of the second half. Nice layoff from Donal Burke to Rian McBride. Rushed the shot, snatched at it a little, and Dublin now up to 10 wides.
But those are the ones that are killing them. You know, they're just spurning very good chances of points. Rian McBride had acres in front of him that he could have ran into there to really make sure of that point.
There's the Sight in front of Pa Collins, uses Niall O'Leary. And now he'll come out to make some yards himself. Pumps it up into the half-forward line, but nobody there in a Cork jersey. Cut out by Liam Rush. Ball now in the hands of Danny Sutcliffe, the former All-Star and the Dublin captain, to Donald Burke again. Once more he's looking to fire a shot in, but it's half-blocked. Niall O'Leary under pressure from Boland, helped out by Luke Meade, and Meade uses all his experience there to dig it out, and Cork will stretch the field again and look for the open spaces. O'Mahony takes it in his stride, looking to cut out the sweeper and plays it into Horgan. Horgan, great take. Horgan flashes the shot high and over the bar. That was some pass from O'Mahony, and Horgan takes the point.
Brilliant play, and look at how well Horgan reads that ball though on the break of it, and you know, the goal is half on and he just chooses to take the point. Just beautiful touch. He looks sharper tonight than in any of the games we've seen him so far.
Well, Patrick Horgan has hit Cork's last 4 scores of this second half. He's hit a real purple patch, and he's got Paddy Smith on the back foot as Kieran Kingston makes a change. He's taking out his son Shane, and he's bringing in one of the goal scorers against Clare, Shane Barrett, another really exciting talent.
Barrett had a big impact last week, you know, and you'd wonder sometimes maybe should Shane Barrett be starting on the Cork team. He's a very, very impressive player.
Interesting to note 2 players added to the Cork subs this evening who haven't featured so far in the championship: Dara Connery and Declan Dalton. Matty Kenny is getting ready to bring in Jake Malone. It looks like the Davy Keogh substitution has been put back on ice. Cian O'Callaghan. Ball went one way, Andrew Dunphy the other. In sweeps Jack O'Connor, and O'Connor with another flawless finish. He's up to 3 points now, all from play.
Yeah, Cian O'Callaghan had done all the hard work. He'd actually got out in front of Jack O'Connor and won the ball, but the hand pass astray and back to him, and I think Cian O'Callaghan has picked up an injury as well, maybe a hamstring.
So there is the Dublin player, Cian O'Callaghan, who's making his way quite gingerly towards the line, and Jake Malone, his Coola clubmate, slots in. So a reshuffle in the Dublin team. They've fallen 9 points behind. Conor Cahalane just a little off balance. It had the accuracy, not the distance, gathered by Alan Nolan, and he will fire it right back down the field again. After it there was Cian O'Sullivan, but he was out-muscled by O'Mahony. Schlitter is now in the hand of Luke Meade. Knew where Barrett was going to be, and Shane Barrett makes his move. Tries to hold off Dunphy, and his first effort at goal is away and out for Cork's 8th wide.
Again, good interplay with Cork, but Andrew Dunphy did well. He was able to hold Shane Barrett outside him and make the shot awkward for him.
Well, Cork led at half-time by 8 points. They've topped up that lead ever so slightly in the third quarter so far. Conor Cahalane looks up, scans the horizon, looks for the run of O'Connor. Ball beats him and Paddy Smith. Smith there needed to think on his feet. Gets it away to Alan Nolan again, who's seen quite a bit of ball in this second half. Conor Burke from St. Vincent's, but the delivery went to where Ronan Hayes had been a few moments earlier, and easy for Rob Downey. Cork again dictating the rules of engagement back in their own defence as Horgan looks to provide the ball inside here for O'Connor. He was knocked off his stride, and Alan Nolan once more will try and give Ronan Hayes what he's looking for. Downey beats him to it. Terrific full back play by the man from Glen Rovers. Knew it was coming, anticipated it, and dealt with it comfortably. O'Mahony tries to flick it away. Mead with the sleight of hand and a very quick eye. That was an outrageous piece of skill by Luke Mead.
Luke Mead did really well to win the ball there, just fooled Dublin players and got his hand in to win it, and then tried the dummy hand pass. Maybe he'd have been better off just to release the ball when he won it.
Well, it was a case of there it was, gone for the Dublin player as Dublin make that change. Cian O'Sullivan is the player who's been taken off, and in comes Davy Keogh from Thomas Davis to try and get this Dublin attack firing. Another misplaced pass though, as Dublin give away the ball so needlessly. Robbie O'Flynn, he has options left and right, uses Dara Fitzgibbon. Rian McBride is trying to stay with him, but Fitzgibbon moves into top gear off his left. Deserved a score, goes down as 9th wide.
Yeah, it's just a little bit scrappy around the middle of the field. There's the previous dispossession by Luke Mead, and then he went with the dummy hand pass. But you know, Cork, you know, they've gone a little bit scrappy around the middle of the field, and that was a poor wide by Dara Fitzgibbon.
Dublin have managed to pull a score back. They're all adding up. The latest one has come off the hurley of Danny Sutcliffe, who for once found a little bit of space for himself, but he's being very tightly marked by Ger Millerick. And that is a first score of the evening for the Dublin captain. It comes in the 53rd minute. Cork have identified him as a threat, and by and large they've shut him down. Rian McBride looking to use the substitute Davy Keogh, very quick off the mark. Two defenders between him and goal. Throws the first one, Mark Coleman, out of the way, and the shot is off target. But James Owens is going to give the free in for the earlier foul on Davy Keogh, who's a very busy sort of inside forward.
He certainly is. You know, he was very good in the championship last year. See, first of all, when he gets on it, Mark Coleman comes across and, you know, probably holds him really, and James Owen didn't give the advantage, and Davy Keogh hit it wide. But Cork very comfortable here at the moment.
So Dublin right now trying to hang on to Cork's coattails and relying mainly on that man Donald Burke for scores. 11 points he's contributed as the whistle sounds for the second half water break, with Cork sitting comfortably on a 7-point lead. Let's head back to the studio.
Yeah, Cork look very, very comfortable at the moment, and they're playing the ball around lovely. Patrick Horgan got a couple of great scores just after half-time as well. But to me, the work rate of the forwards are putting the Dublin guys under a serious amount of pressure. So that's something that we probably didn't see with these Cork forwards before, been thrown at them before. But they're really, really up in the work rate at the moment.
Yeah, I think Dublin there coming out of the fence on a few occasions are just giving the ball back to Cork, doing some really good work, but just giving the ball away very, very cheaply, as JJ said there and Nicky said on the commentary. Cork looked to be in control at the back, no real goal threat in that that third quarter, and I think Cork will see this game out now at this stage.
Yeah, like Ollie alluded to there, I just think that Cork have too many hurlers all over the field. Dublin are struggling to work the ball out, and when they do, it's going to ground, or it's just giving the Cork forwards a chance to, you know, get a touch on them then. And Dublin are spending too much on Danny Sutcliffe and Donald Burke in that third there for me, while Cork they have an array of players on top, well on top of the whole field, and I can't see Dublin coming back at this stage.
Thanks, lads. Well, we knew, Nicky, for Dublin to have a chance here, they'd have to disrupt Cork's running game, but it's easier said than done.
It certainly is, and as well, they were going to have to score, and are going to have to score 30 points or more, because that's the kind of scoring rate that Cork have had over the last couple of weeks. And certainly without goals, Dublin don't look like they're going to get to 30 points. Cork just very comfortable. Their hurling is, as the lads have pointed out, just much snappier. Their first touch is better. You know, the likes of Jack O'Connor, all these players are growing week on week and getting better.
So it's a case of now or never for Dublin. The final quarter of this All-Ireland quarter-final has begun. Collins' puck out, caught by Rush. Lays it off to Conor Burke. The Fianna man to the Vincent's man, and Conor Burke with another big score. Well, they're hanging on in there, 6 between them.
Yeah, exactly. As the third quarter started, a good point from Conor Burke, but that's Dublin have to build on that now and actually get this lead down to maybe 2 or 3 points.
That's now 3 points on the spin for Dublin. Cork just switching off a little in the last few minutes. Ruck develops on the 45, and that big collision results in a free, and James Owens wants a word. Player he's calling across is the Dublin number 19, Jake Malone. In fact, no, I beg your pardon, it's Liam Rush.
Yeah, in fairness to Shane Barrett, he picked up the ball very, very well, and he was heading off towards goals, and you know, I suppose James Owens is pretty consistent. He gave a yellow card to Sean O'Donoghue for something similar in the first half. I say that maybe Rush's one is probably more clear-cut and frontal charge.
So Liam Rush, one of the few men left in the Dublin squad with a Leinster Championship medal from 2013, is in the book. Matty Kenny weighing up his next move. I'm sure, like everybody else, anticipating a score off this Horgan free. 10 points, 3 from play. And that's 25 points now in Championship 2021 for the Cork corner forward. Good corner back play by Sean O'Donoghue. Lets that ball run out over the line.
Yeah, O'Donoghue and O'Leary have been very, very impressive all through the championship.
There's Sean O'Leary-Hayes, just popped up on your picture for a moment. He's ready to come in, the Middleton defender. Kieran Kingston and company now just looking to lock down that defence even tighter for the last 15 minutes or so. Poor sideline cut. Dublin had a chance to engineer something. They've given the ball away again. Bit of a pile-up in front of James Owens. Well, he waited and watched and gives Cork the free.
Yeah, I didn't actually see what happened there. It's unusual for the ball not to be thrown in that circumstance, but maybe one of the Dublin lads pulled there, which I'm interested to see it. No, I think he just handled the ball on the ground, I think. And that change has been made by Cork. Sean O'Leary-Hayes is coming on for Sean O'Donoghue, I suppose. Maybe smart enough from Cork. He's on a yellow card, and you know he's done very well, and he's been getting a good reception coming off the field. He's a very popular player within this team.
So Sean O'Donoghue, who, as Nicky said, was on a yellow and a warning, he's been taken out, and Sean O'Leary-Hayes is in. Mark Coleman looking to feed the full forward line. Ball won superbly in the air by Robbie O'Flynn. Back to Shane Barrett, and Barrett does what he does best. It's his first point of this quarter-final, and again, it just gives Cork that little bit of extra room to manoeuvre.
Yeah, good catch by Robbie O'Flynn, and Barrett is always good for a score any time he's been introduced.
James Madden there, just a little the worse for wear. 8 different scorers now for Cork, and that's another aspect to their game this year, Nicky. The threats, well, they come from everywhere and anywhere.
Absolutely, and even from the half-back line with Tim O'Mahony coming forward there, Luke Meade has been impressive. Jack O'Connor picking up a yellow card. We saw it last week as well against Clare. He picked up a very cheap yellow card against for a tackle on John Conlon, so maybe a side of his game that he needs to watch.
Alan Connolly from Blackrock will be coming in shortly as that long booming Dublin delivery runs through to Mark Coleman, pulling the strings from that Cork full back line. This is Conor Cahalane, lays it off to Robbie O'Flynn. Thought about the pass, takes on the shot, just wide, and that could well be his last act in this game. Alan Connolly from Blackrock is raring to go, and here he comes, and Robbie O'Flynn called ashore. He's put in a good shift, Robbie O'Flynn. hit a couple of points, worked hard, but his evening over after an hour or so.
Yeah, great pace, Robbie O'Flynn, and that was a bad wide from him, but he's put in a good shift again tonight. And it'll be interesting again to see how Alan Connolly gets on. He was good when he came on against last week, very good last year for Blackrock, and there's been a lot of talk about him in Cork that this guy is going to really make a difference to the team as a target man.
So 10 minutes of normal time to play in this knockout championship quarter-final. Rian McBride smuggles it off to Chris Crummy, who's had a really quiet second half. Returns the favour to McBride, and between the two of them, they've negotiated a way through the Cork defence, and Rian McBride from Vincent's with his first score of the match.
Yeah, Dublin hanging in on points alone. Crummy did well to engineer the chance for him. But again, maybe, Mark Coleman in the earlier piece of play, they're just not really forceful over the ball and not blocking it from going through his line.
Puck out from Pa Collins, right down on top of Liam Rush. He was at full stretch, but under no real pressure. Uses the substitute, Jake Malone. Bottled up was Conor Burke. Has to choose a different avenue of attack. He's got Shane Barrett after him and closing. Manages to hang on just long enough for the arrival of James Madden, but he dwelt on the ball just long enough for that shot to be blocked. Break picked up by Sutcliffe, looking for his second score, but just wide. And at this stage of the game, Matty Kenny's Dublin need every chance they create.
Yeah, and they've spurned an awful lot of those chances all through the match. Their hurling is not as snappy as Cork's. So James Madden, delayed on the shot and was blocked down, and then when it broke to Sutcliffe, really he had a great chance to score. He's inside the 65, right in front of the goals, and they're the chances that have to be converted.
Luke Meade is the Cork player down at the moment.
He's down with cramp. I noticed Dara Fitzgibbon is tired, looks a bit tired as well. So, if Dublin could really, tackle into Cork here, the Cork, they had a hard game last week as well, and there might be a little tiredness in there.
Cork have expended a lot of energy as well this evening. 2:15 from play. A whole host of different scorers to put themselves in this match-winning position, but assuming they come through, of course, Nicky, they will be out for their third game in as many weeks against Kilkenny next Sunday, and that will take its toll as well.
It certainly will. Kilkenny will have had a good break into the semi-final, and I think with the last couple of championships, in the pandemic era, if you like to call it, the best way to go is to win the provincial final and get to the semi-final, because you have your 2 or 3 week gap all along.
So both teams making changes. Luke Meade not able to continue, and the fresh legs of Billy Hennessy are into the Cork engine room, while Dublin have introduced the speedy Oisin O'Rourke into their forward line. Man who hurls with Kilmacud Crokes has replaced Cian Boland from St Oliver Plunkett's own Rua. So 7 minutes of normal time to go. Cork looking to push on and close it out. Dublin fighting for their lives. Davy Keogh juggles it over the head of O'Mahony. Needed to be precise with the touch, and he was. Takes the shoulder in his stride, lays it off to McBride. Little delay there for a moment by Jake Malone. Lovely piece of skill and a beautiful finish from the Dublin substitute. And they get the scoreboard moving again, and they just stay in touch.
Yeah, it was great play by Davy Keogh. He effectively took on 4 or 5 Cork fellas right here under us along the sideline and created a chance.
Can Dublin conjure up the goal chance they need to really put the pressure on Cork? Tim O'Mahony took a step back, now leaves it in towards Horgan, taken superbly in the air by Paddy Smith. The floodlights on here at Semple Stadium. Shadows starting to lengthen. That's Donald Burke, and Burke from way out the country with another one. Well, Donald Burke with 13 points, keeping Dublin in touch.
He surely is, and Dublin are winning plenty of possession now, and you can hear the crowd getting a bit more excited here because Cork just look a bit leg weary to me, particularly around the middle third.
The pretty small Dublin crowd now trying to pump up the volume and crank up the pressure on Cork. They're attacking in wave after wave. It's Danny Sutcliffe, and it's another one for Dublin. Well, they've just reeled off 4 in a row, the latest from their captain, and this may not be over yet.
Absolutely not. I see Kieran Kingston and the Cork selectors under us are just getting very much more nervous looking than they were a few minutes ago.
Paddy Kenny still looking calm and composed down in front of the Dublin dugout. He said during the week he trusts in the process, he trusts in the system. Cork trust in this man, Jack O'Connor, but he's run down a cul-de-sac, chased by 3 Dublin defenders, and they take the man and they shepherd the ball out over the line, and another chance is gone, and Cork find themselves back in a battle for the second time in a week.
Yeah, they haven't been nearly as clinical in the second half. You know, they had 20 points at half-time. They only have 8 points scored in the second half.
So here's one of the Cork substitutes. It's Sean O'Leary-Hayes. Will those fresh legs, that energy Cork have brought in, will that prove crucial? That's a foul on Jack O'Connor. It was Dara Gray who was penalised. Just seemed to click his heels, O'Connor. Not sure there was a whole lot in it, free in.
No, there wasn't a whole lot in it. It was unintentional, but he still clipped the heels, and you know, it's a welcome free, I'd say, for Cork, and a welcome chance for Pádraig Horgan, because it's gone a bit, they're just gone a little bit dodgy for them. They're not winning any much possession over the last 5, 6, 7 minutes there.
Well, they've been outscored since the water break, Cork. 5 points to 2. Dublin have upped the ante in the last 10 minutes or so. But Pádraig Horgan steadies the ship. Cork's first score for 9 minutes. Horgan's 11th. Could be so crucial yet. Tim O'Mahony scrapes the skies to win it. Clattered when he landed. Sutcliffe went through him for a shortcut, really. Cork get the free. And now James Owens will need a word with his linesman. And you'd imagine there's a card coming.
Yeah, he's certainly going to get a yellow card for this challenge, but what a catch by Tim O'Mahony. He's been outstanding all night. Watch this. And that's Chris Crummy he's jumping over. Chris Crummy is 6'3", 6'4".
Very heavy challenge by Danny Sutcliffe. Made no effort to play the ball. And Tim O'Mahony still down as the former Dublin manager, Ger Cunningham, grabs a word with Diarmuid O'Sullivan and Kieran Kingston.
Yeah, I don't think the Cork selectors could be really happy with the second half. You know, they have been very in and out of the game, very inconsistent.
Well, by the sound of things, no card for Danny Sutcliffe. James Owens did have a good long conversation with his linesman Thomas Welsh over there.
So
Tim O'Mahony back on his feet.
Good to see Tim O'Mahony back on his feet from a Cork perspective, but yeah, I think Danny Sutcliffe was very lucky not to get away with it without getting a yellow card there.
The Cork last hurled in an All-Ireland semi-final 3 years ago. Lost a shootout to Limerick after extra time. Right now they have 1 foot in next weekend's semi-final, but they're not making life easy for themselves. That's wide number 11, the latest off the hurley of Jack O'Connor, as Dublin pitch in Paul Crummy, brother of Chris, to replace Ronan Hayes in one of their last rolls of the dice. Dublin, as they have been all evening, still in desperate need now of a goal. The clock against them. Ball pops up nicely for Davy Keogh, pops it out through the side door. This is Donald Burke. He literally had nowhere to run, moves it off quickly, but the snapshot is driven high and wide by Conor Burke.
Yeah, they need to find a goal somewhere. They haven't really, since the first couple of minutes of the match, they haven't had a shot at the goals. And you know, those couple of early snap chances were as good as they got for Dublin in the goal sense.
A dozen wide for Dublin. Quick, precise puck out from Collins to Billy Hennessy. Well defended by Andrew Dunphy. He's left Alan Nolan here with a bit of work to do. Nicely done. As Liam Rush takes control. Nice sidestep to buy himself some room. Looking for the run of Oisin O'Rourke, but it was well cut out. Cork defenders working in tandem. Millerick to Jack O'Connor, and again you can hear the buzz around Semple Stadium as O'Connor pins his ears back and goes towards the Dublin goal, but hooked brilliantly by Rian McBride, who just bided his time and pounced as O'Connor was about to squeeze the trigger.
Yeah, Rian McBride did really well to get back on him.
We're into additional time at the end of this quarter-final. This is Niall O'Leary, and that just might be the insurance score for Cork. He came charging up from corner back, still going strong, and nothing or nobody was going to stop him.
Yeah, very impressive. And ball broke nicely for him, but he had no worries about taking the score, and looks like he might have injured himself in the process as well. Downey has been outstanding as well tonight for Cork.
It's been another big job of work, well done by Rob Downey, as Nicky said. Cork have hit 2 scores in a row just to break that Dublin run. Here's Alan Connolly. Well, they'll tell you in Cork he's the next big thing, and Connolly from Blackrock shows us why. Yes. We're into the 2nd minute of additional time. Cork have stretched their lead to 7. And they're finishing strongly as Harnedy gets on the ball, tries to make something happen. Connolly again is the intended target, and he has it. Lovely touch to pick out Cahalan. Jack O'Connor was looking for it, but the shot is well wide. Nick. Well, Cork about to make a change just before we hear who Nicky's man of the match is. Let's check in with Anthony Nash.
Standing behind Rob Downey here in the second half has been just an absolute joy to watch, in fairness to him. Last week he had Aaron Shanner, he's after Chris Crummy, Hayes. So far tonight he's been an absolute monster at full back tonight, and I think he's going to be tough to put off the team when Damien Cahalan gets back fit.
A monster is right. Downey slotting in effortlessly at full back.
Yeah, he's had 2 outstanding games.
Free out, foul on Shane Barrett. And Nicky, at this stage of the day, you can tell us who's your selection for our Board Gosh Energy man of the match.
Well, all the best players have been on the Cork side, and for me it's down between Seamus Harnedy and Tim O'Mahony this week. And I think Tim O'Mahony just set the tone earlier with that goal, and he's been outstanding up and down the line all night. So the man of the match for this week is Tim O'Mahony.
And there he is, scored his first championship goal tonight, and what a goal it was. Set Cork on their way, and he is Nicky's selection for man of the match. He's had 10 possessions. He's hit 1-1 from wing back. And Kieran Kingston looking a lot calmer than he did some 10 minutes ago right now. Cork on the verge of putting back-to-back championship wins together for the first time in 6 years, as Patrick Horgan applies what might well be the signature score, his 12th of the evening.
Yeah, and Kieran will be much happier with the form of Patrick Horgan from freeze and play tonight as well.
So it will be Limerick against Waterford and Cork against Kilkenny in this summer's All-Ireland hurling semi-finals. Will Dublin have the last word? Paul Crummy has to go back to grab his hurley. Shoots under pressure and shoots Dublin's 13th wide, and like so many big games in the past, their conversion rate has let them down when the chips have been down.
Yeah, certainly. They just all night they've been missing those easy chances that, you know, and they always needed to get to 30 points. You see Cork are up at the 32 mark, but Dublin really haven't been able just to score freely enough.
Cork now with 24 goals scored this season across league and championship in some 8 matches, averaging 3 a game, and that's some form to bring with them to Croke Park. And those wide open spaces as Paddy Smith tries to drive on for Dublin, looking for Burke. Good play once more by Cork, and there goes the full-time whistle. And Kieran Kingston's quest and Cork's quest to win a first All-Ireland in 16 years will continue next weekend. They're into the final 4. They're among the last men standing in Championship 2021. But it is the end of the road for Dublin. Back-to-back defeats against Kilkenny and now Cork bring their summer to a close after an action-packed quarter-final here in Thurles. It has finished Cork 226, Dublin 24 points.
And yes, for the second year in a row, it is Cork who knock out Dublin from the championship. That means we know who our semi-final pairings will be next weekend. Limerick will take on Waterford on Saturday at 5 p.m, while on Sunday Kilkenny will meet Cork at 3:30. And of course, the All-Ireland final is down for decision on the 22nd of August. But this is how it ended here in Semple Stadium. It is Cork who go marching on 2 goals and 26 points against Dublin's 24 points. Yeah, impressive display by Cork. They're winning by 8 points at the end, even though there was a few moments there, JJ, where Dublin are bringing it back, but they never seemed to get that crucial goal that they needed, did they?
No, they were pushing for it. It didn't even look like trying to get it. They were happy enough to get a couple of scores from outside the field. I think the Cork full back line were very comfortable all night, to be fair, and even Colin Spillane coming on, Sean Leary Hayes come on, didn't skip a beat. They were straight back in and doing the exact same thing as 2 lads who started in front of them. So huge bit of competition there for the Cork backs as well. Tim Anani had a brilliant game, but all around Cork were the better team on the night.
Okay, well, let's just look at some of the analysis from the second half there. You can hear the Rebel support. I'll tell you, they are back and looking forward to heading back to Croke Park next weekend. Ollie, let's just talk about Cork's start in the second half. They just started to pull away there, didn't they? Yeah, they did, and I think they needed this as well. Sometimes you can get very comfortable. You can see Shamie Harnedy here just going forward. Beautiful strike over the bar, and a great return for him today. He hit 4 points, I think. He also had, I think it's Tim O'Mahony that gets on the end of this, and this is what Tim O'Mahony was doing all afternoon, I think. You know, very, very forceful, great player, very, very tight situation there, and a great score. And then after that, I suppose you had Patrick Horgan, who was very effective today. A beautiful ball across to Patrick Horgan, and that's just a typical Patrick Horgan score. Out on the sideline, turns back in field and slots it beautifully. And here again, you see another crossfield ball, absolutely brilliant. We felt there was a goal on here. Struck it really, really well, but the ball just went high, and you know, it's not like Patrick Horgan in that situation. I think he may have had goal on his mind, but all Cork had to do in that second half was just keep taking them chances, keep knocking over the points, and I think that was going to see them through, and that's the way it panned out. You did mention, Ollie, before the game, just Patrick Horgan. We needed to see a big game from him, like 12 points this evening. How impressed were you by him? Really impressed, and I mean, Patrick came in for a bit of criticism, missed a few frees in the first day out, but he scored 3 points in play against Clare as well the last day, and he came back, I think, 3 from play or 4 from play again tonight. Really, really good and really excellent on the frees as well. Let's talk about Dublin, because they did look like they were totally gone from this game, and just the final quarter they did come back into it. Yeah, they did. No, they played very, very well in the second half as well, but they fought very, very hard for the ball. I see them kind of hooking and blocking and tackling, and it's a great score here from I think it's Conor Buck in the end, because a pass back off Chris Crummey and straight over the bar as well. They were scoring from 40-50 yards out, but they weren't really kind of threatening the goal. This is Davy Coe came on, and very competitive as well, so
good pass again. Look, again, the Cork lads are in their face, but the work is scoring. Jake Malone got a great score right side. Again, there's not much on inside in the full forward line there for Dublin, so they have to work it up the field. But to be fair to Dublin, like, again, Donald Burke was their top performer the whole night. He just got pockets of space all over the field and left and right. He was just a kind of joy to watch him. And from a Dublin point of view, again, Danny Sutcliffe done a huge amount of work. And fair to Danny, he only got a point or 2 points, I think, in the second half. But he was trying to win the prime possession himself, and he was trying to kind of switch hands and kind of be the playmaker for this Dublin team. So to be fair to Danny, he had put in a heavy shift. Didn't come off with what he deserved on the scoreboard, but got 2 nice points in the second half.
Cork, though, they looked tired, though, didn't they? Nicky referenced it in commentary as well. Like, they have been on the road a couple of games, week in, week out. They go again next weekend. But how concerned will Kieran Kingston be by that? I suppose just towards the end of the fourth quarter there, they looked like they were gone, legs-wise.
Yeah, they did. And I think, you know, once he had the few subs off the bench, I think he felt that the tide would turn again. Dublin did come. We just saw that burst that Dublin came with 4 or 5 points on the trot. But every team, I think, is going to get that few minutes where they take advantage of the opportunities, and Dublin did that. But we felt that Cork were still creating the opportunities, and we saw it in the end. They closed out the game so professionally, I suppose, and so clinically. They really just they put the game to bed in the last 3 or 4 minutes there. So a concern, but again, this week is going to be a down week. It's all about recovery. Get these guys rested now for the week and get them up again for next weekend.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned that they were asked questions, they certainly answered them towards the end of that second half. OK, Tim O'Mahony, surprise, is the Bord Gáis Energy Man of the Match. He's speaking with Shane Dawson.
Tim O'Mahony, congratulations. You are this evening's Bord Gáis Man of the Match. Tim, just how tough was that 70 minutes of hurling?
Look, we knew what Dublin were going to throw at us. They threw everything at us, and I suppose in return we threw everything at them. The 4 teams playing this weekend, there's very fine margins between the 4, as you've seen, a great game as well earlier. So look, we're just happy to come out with the win.
And that emphatic intensity and speed and directness, was that how you felt you were able to get over Dublin today?
Look, I suppose that's championship really. It's played on the edge. The boys brought a great intensity again today. Probably took a lot of momentum from Clare last weekend, but look, we're just delighted to get the win.
Talk me through the goal as well, slaloming through the Dublin defence.
It was hit and hop.
Well, you took the hit well from Liam Rush.
I don't know that I take it too well, no, to be honest. I'll be sore tomorrow.
Well, Tim, listen, you are through to an All-Ireland semi-final. How does that feel?
It's mighty. Look, I suppose we just wanted to get back into Croke Park at the start of the year, and thankfully we've achieved that. So we'll train hard this weekend, and we'll take from there.
Gentlemen, thanks for your time.
Perfect, thanks a million. Cheers.
Yeah, and Brian Cody will have been paying close attention and licking his lips at how he's going to try to stop or come up with a game plan to stop those Cork forwards, and Tim O'Mahony making those runs forward from wing back. Now, just a couple of things in the second half in terms of Dublin and maybe lacking ideas. Now, just want to highlight, first of all, Conor Burke's contribution, because I thought he worked tirelessly in the middle of the field for Dublin, and he's making every effort to get back, pick up that breaking ball, and he ran himself into the ground for the Dublin cause. Now, in the middle of the field again, here's the other Burke, Donald Burke, looking for the ball, making himself available. Again, wins possession, lays it off to Rian McBride. Now, at this point in the match, down here at the bottom of the screen, Dublin had Chris Crummy on the edge of the square, but Rob Downey is touch tight, and there's no real effort from Crummy to make a run to offer Rian McBride anything. Ideally, you want this ball in front of him into space, but Crummy doesn't really make the run. There's not a whole lot else on inside, and Rian McBride, that's a bad wide. We saw Dublin all night long, you know, with possession, but not making use of it and paying the price. Now, again, Conor Burke making himself available, looking for the ball. Let's run it on. Alan Nolan carrying it forward. Now, again, there isn't really a whole lot else on. He goes long, and I suppose up here, credit to the Cork full back line. I thought they were good all night. Niall O'Leary touch tight on Keane Boland. There's Sean O'Donoghue again, touch tight on, I think it was Keane O'Sullivan at the time. And down the bottom of the screen here, again, Downey, superb all night long at the edge of the square. And as we run it on here, he gets across Hayes, puts the ball into his hand, comes out with it, and again, there's the easy out ball. I think it is to Luke Mead or Patrick Horgan. So Dublin struggling really to create anything up front. Admittedly, yeah, some good scores from out the field, but I don't think Patrick Collins really had a shot to save all night, apart from possibly those early couple of chances that Ronan Hayes had, and really Cork comfortable from a long way out. Credit to Dublin for staying in it, and when they got it back to 6 points, you felt that they needed to get the next couple of scores, but they weren't able to, and Cork, I suppose, really looked winners from a long way out, but a much, much stiffer challenge coming up the tracks next Sunday, Kilkenny and Croke Park, and what a game that is to look forward to.
Thanks, Jim. And let's just talk about that game, looking ahead to that. So, JJ, Brian Cody's watching this tonight. What's he thinking?
Yeah, look, it's hard to know. You kind of have to go on what Dublin did well tonight against this Cork team. I suppose Cork play a high risk, kind of play it out from the back there as well. So if you can curtail the easy option, you see with James's clip there, there's a Cork guy just free available. So you need a Kilkenny guy right up against him now straight away. It's kind of turnovers. You get a few turnovers and get a few scores, and you might dent the confidence of this Cork team there as well. What you can't do, I suppose, at the other end is give these Cork forwards a lot of space, and Croke Park will be suited for the likes of, say, Robbie O'Flynn and Jack O'Connor as well. So they're going to have to kind of keep it steady at the back, keep it tight at the back, but again, when it comes to midfield up, they're going to have to go up on each Cork opponent now and kind of win their own 50-50.
Yeah, I think definitely the predicament that you have is if you push up on the Cork defence, you do leave space at the back. And we look down on the pitch here at times this evening, and you could see one Dublin defender marking Jack O'Connor. And I know myself and JJ here commented it wouldn't be a place we'd like to be, with 50 metres of open grass either side of you. So it's going to be a problem that Brian Cody and the Kilkenny team will have to solve, but Brian has seen it all before. So an intriguing battle coming up next weekend in both semi-finals.
So Jamesy, what do you do? What's your tactics for coping with this Cork attack for next weekend?
Well, Kilkenny, I think the last time they met was in the 2017 or 2018. I really fancied Cork heading into that game, but Kilkenny, in the second half in particular, put 5 men across the middle, their half-back line, the two midfielders sat deep, and they said, right, break that line down, and Cork couldn't. And, Dublin had plenty of possession tonight, and if Kilkenny get the same possession as Dublin had, particularly in the first half, you're guaranteed they'll make better use of it. They have probably better forwards, more shooters on the pitch, and I think Kilkenny will bring the same levels of intensity, physicality, aggression that they've always brought. I mean, those same ingredients, haven't left the Kilkenny dressing room. And as I said, it'll be a much more physical and tougher contest, I think, next weekend. So I don't think Kilkenny in any way, shape or form will fear playing Cork. They've had their number in recent years. Now they've got to respect the pace that Cork have, but Cork will need to be better than they were tonight. Certainly there was a drop off in the intensity levels in the second half. Maybe they felt they had the job done and they took the foot off the accelerator, but they have the pace, and as JJ said, Croke Park is, this Cork team I think is built for the open spaces up there. It's just trying and finding a way to create them, and Cody and the Kilkenny defence will be doing their level best to deny them those same spaces. So yeah, it's set up to be a really interesting semi-final, and Cork won't have minded avoiding Limerick, and it's a match-up, I suppose, a repeat of last year's All-Ireland final. Now Waterford bringing all that energy and all that momentum now into their contest with Limerick. So two great semi-finals, and arguably on form, Gráinne, I think the four best teams left in the competition at this point in time.
Just to talk about that intensity, I'll bring Ollie and JJ back in this. I mean, that happened last weekend as well, where Cork looked to be well in front, and then they seem to drop that intensity. So that has to be a concern. And also when you think that they're going again next weekend, energy levels, you saw players going off with cramp there, JJ. So just talk a little bit about that concern now from Kieran Kingston and his management point of view.
I definitely think it is a huge concern for Kieran going into next week, because All-Ireland semi-final you can't afford to slack off for a second, let alone 10 or 15 minutes, which you did in the second half there as well. Again, you're going to play against better opposition. Again, you have a break there as well. They'll be fresh coming into it as well. So it's going to be a huge concern for him. But again, that's what his management team will be looking at this week in regarding getting rest and recovery, and just kind of focus the minds again. But then you can throw the carrot in front of this Cork panel. Listen, Ireland semi-final is your chance to get back into Ireland final. When did you ever get a chance to this before? So again, it's a huge carrot for these Cork players as well. Like, it's not just going on to another qualifier or another quarter-final. It's a semi-final. This is there to be won as well. Okay,
well, let's hear from the Cork manager, Kieran Kingston. He's speaking with Shane.
Kieran Kingston, consecutive victories for Cork in the Championship and through to an All-Ireland semi-final. What's the overriding emotion?
I suppose a bit like last week, it's one of relief in some ways. Very important for us last week to put in a performance and get a result in a knockout championship game. Today, I think, was about consistency and that we would be able to do that again and repeat that performance and get to an All-Ireland semi-final. And today everything was thrown at us by a fantastic Dublin team who we knew coming in there was going to be a huge challenge, and I suppose for us it was about getting to an All-Ireland semi-final, number one, but also putting a performance back to back.
How pleased are you with the performance? And in terms of concentration and accuracy and composure, do you feel you righted the wrongs that perhaps you needed to build on from last week?
No, I mean, look, I thought we were basically asleep in the first 5 minutes. We could have conceded 2 goals early on. We got a bit of luck there. We rode our luck, I think. We played well for the rest of the quarter. Finished the first half, got a couple of scores, finished the first half in a good place. But I thought we were really poor the third quarter. We lost it by a point. And ended up drawing the second half, and we know that heading into Meath Kilkenny and tomorrow week, that our second half performance, and in particular our third quarter performance, would not be good enough.
Is that a concern, or how much do you feel you need to lift levels then?
Well, I mean, it's difficult to know, but we must give great credit to Dublin. We were playing against a team who had beaten Galway, who had a lot of distractions and a lot of disruption heading into the Leinster final, and still give a great account of themselves. So I suppose within the camp we knew today was going to be tonight was going to be a really, really big challenge. A lot of people didn't say, oh, it was a handy draw or whatever. We knew this was going to be a massive game, and Dublin threw everything at us, and in fairness to them, stayed with us and stayed at it, kept coming at us right up to the very end.
Gentlemen, Kieran.
Okay, thanks, Shane.
Thanks.
Well done, Kieran Kingston, and well done to Cork. They're through to that All-Ireland semi-final. Of course, we have another All-Ireland semi-final coming up next weekend as well, lads. So Limerick and Waterford. JJ, your thoughts on that? Yeah. Will Waterford be happy to be meeting Limerick? Is anyone going to be happy to be meeting Limerick in a semi-final?
In a weird way, I think they will be. Like, you know what I mean, in regarding folks their minds and see what happened in the other final last year as well. And they had a very, very competitive league game down there as well in Walsh Park. So I think that was kind of fresh in the Waterford guys' minds as well. But yeah, it's going to be a fascinating battle. It's going to be very, very physical, very, very fast and free-flowing kind of a game there as well. So I can't wait. I think that's the pick of the 2 semi-finals is that Limerick and Waterford game now next Saturday.
Look, he's playing down Kilkenny already here. Do you hear that, Ollie? Huh? Limerick and Waterford, though. I mean, the momentum with Waterford, you could really see that today, like in the crowds behind them as well. But again, this is their another weekend out for them, and that terms of energy and recovery, it's hugely important that everything goes well for them this week too, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And they'll have to get back on Tuesday night and assess maybe how the bodies are, how the injuries are. If there are any niggles or knocks picked up, I'm sure the guys will be recovering even tomorrow morning. I'm sure the work will start there. But Liam Cahill is a type of player in his day, and a type of manager that I'm sure will relish a challenge. And I know that he's going to be building the Waterford players up for a massive, massive challenge next weekend. And sometimes as a player and as a manager, I'm sure as well, you want to test yourself against the best. I think the general feeling out there is that Limerick are the team to beat in the championship this year, and what better challenge and what better way to motivate your players in the week ahead is to take on the best. So a big challenge ahead, big game ahead for Waterford. But I think they're going really, really well. I think they're, as we said earlier, they've got a lot of momentum. They've got a fair bit of pace in that team as well, and I'm sure they're going to be trying to use that to break down this Limerick team next weekend.
Well, it's exciting to look forward to, and we can't wait to get back to Croke Park and see those games taking place next weekend. But just let's remind you on the championship action that took place today. It is Waterford are through to that semi-final after beating Tipperary in a scoreline of 428 to 227. And from our game today, it's Cork who are through as well, 226 to Dublin's 24 points. In the Ulster Senior Football Championship final, Tyrone were 1-point winners over Monaghan. The Nicky Racker Cup final saw Mayo victorious there, and in the Laurie Maher Cup final it was an all-Ulster derby with Fermanagh taking the claims there. And the Airgrid Under-20 All-Ireland Football semi-final saw Offaly beat Cork 3-10 to 14 points. Tomorrow's fixtures then will see Derry and Offaly playing at 1 p.m. in the Christie Ring Cup final, and Dublin, who are going for their 11th Leinster football title in a row, will play Kildare at 4 p.m. We're back next weekend with the All-Ireland hurling semi-finals. On Saturday, Limerick will take on Waterford at 5 p.m. Sunday sees Kilkenny against Cork, and then the All-Ireland hurling final is down for decision on August the 22nd at 3:30 p.m. Next Wednesday, we bring you another episode of Inside the Game on Sky Sports Arena as we review this weekend's action and look ahead to next weekend's fixtures. But that's it from us tonight in Semple Stadium. My thanks once more to Ollie, JJ and Jamesy for their company. Until next weekend, from all of us here and all the team, Slán and take care.